Welcome to Tier Fun. I'm Andrew, your guide through Modern, and what I've got for you today is yet another Blue Moonish deck. After playing the Kiki-Jiki deck recently, I cooled on it a little bit. It just felt hard. Having the combo, an infinite combo that just wins you the game, is great, and I think it's good, but it's not where I wanted to be at. It's not, maybe not the deck for me right now. I was kind of frustrated with, the same problems that Twin used to have. If you can interact, like, it requires two moving parts. Two moving targets you're trying to hit. You got to stick your Pestermite or your Exarch, and then you have to stick your Twin. And this time the Twin is cost 5, and it's a creature with 2 toughness. And I just felt like the matches off camera and with the matches on camera, it wasn't quite as reliable as a win con as I wanted it to be. And even when it was a good win con, like, it could still save your keister in really tight situations like Twin used to, which was one of the reasons people love the deck. You were never dead, really. Casting on turn 5 was rough against a lot of the aggressive decks in the format, and sure, your tappers help you get there, but we're also pretty bad against burn. We didn't have phenomenal matchups against decks I was running into a lot, and so as I was about to hang up my Blue Moon for the time being, I came across the list that started me on this path a while back. Actually, I kind of forgot that I even had Platinum Emperions and Madcap Experiments, and I'd never run the deck because I don't know, went through a long, whatever. The reasons aside, what we're here is to play this deck. So Madcap Experiment, casting it with only Platinum Emperion in the deck, just puts Platinum Emperion into play, and you don't lose any life. So it's basically a 4-mana, 8/8 artifact creature golem, which means our life total can't change as long as this is on the battlefield. So yeah, pretty great, right? It doesn't end the game, and it's interactive. It's easy to interact with, way easier to interact with because it's just one creature. But the key is they have to interact with it, and we do have multiples. And with Blood Moon, plus our interactivity suite with cryptics, remands, and spell snares, it's going to make it hard for them to cast their spells, basically. So you hope that when you cast your Madcap, maybe you're going to have to deal with 1, maybe 2 removal spells before you just win the game. It's also just phenomenal against Burn, which feels great. Usually when you play Blue-Red, Burn's a matchup you got to grind through. This is a deck that can really sneak some wins on Burn. Especially, Blood Moon's even good because their artifact hate is green, and I don't think they run basic forest. Most people don't. Some lists are running Storm Breath, Dragons, or the other one, Thundermite Hellkite, one of the two. I think they're running Storm Breath. But I found that I think Teferi is just good here. First of all, you're not necessarily guaranteed to have double red all the time. You're fairly likely to, but we have running 8 islands, something insane like that. So Teferi should be pretty easy to cast. We're obviously trying to get Cryptic as well. And one of this deck's weaknesses, this version of the deck at least, well, no, this deck in general, is that if you're not running Dispels main, you're weak to kind of your mirror. And this is a mirror breaker. Also, it's very good against something like Death's Shadow. It just cuts them off of their, assuming you get to turn 5, it cuts them off of Stubborn Denial. Which is great. Like, if we're the only deck casting counterspells, or if our counterspells are always going to be good, then Platinum Emperion becomes a way bigger threat to deal with. And I think Teferi's been pretty good. Sideboard, I'm testing out, it's basically cards we've seen recently. I'm testing out Ravenous Traps as my graveyard hates. Reasoning behind it is it's just good. I've been seeing some dredge recently, so it's always good to pack some hate. It's also just thinking back on my time with Storm, I think it's just whenever they go off, they do more times than not, especially when they use the graveyard, they will put say the gifts. They only have to cast gifts, and 3 cards will go into the graveyard. So You put their Past in Flames in the graveyard, make them cast it, and then we're tapped out. So they're probably not expecting interaction, and hope they don't have a remand. But I mean, if they have a remand, we can cast it again. And remand is their only interaction, so Ravenous Trap is actually just pretty good. So I think Ravenous Trap has some upside against Storm, in particular for Graveyard Hate. That's really all I was using it for. It's kind of good against the Reliquary decks. Traditional Graveyard Hate is. Ravenous Trap is not necessarily, but we have stuff like Kefnit's Last Word, which is good against black-green X decks. We can just steal their threat. It's not all that good against decks with counter magic, but like I was toying with the idea of that. Once again, having card memory loss. It's the same mana cost, and it's a fairy that steals creatures as long as it's on the battlefield. I was toying with that, but I think this is so much better in the green matchups that I just wanted it instead. So this is where we're at. I don't think there's any real... Oh, a Braid. The best performing list I could find was running a Braid, and at first I was like, well, let's upgrade that. But then I got to thinking, I was like, well, I think a Braid probably has just enough utility over something like Roast. And it's a card I haven't played in Modern yet, so I'm kind of interested to see what a Braid has to offer. I think decks we're weak to are... I mean, we have Madcap. Basically, any deck with Path to Exile, Madcap becomes harder win con. We do have Snap Bolts though, and Blood Moon. Like I think we're gonna have game against the field, and I think I'm not sure how many games we're winning. I've kind of been on a roll with playing decks that aren't necessarily phenomenal, but they're fun, and I want to see if they're good, and that's what it's all about, testing. So. With that being said, we've spent more than enough time vamping about the deck tech and the deck in general. If we could slide some more cards in here, I think I would want 1, maybe 2 hard counters. The thing is, like, Mana Leak is good on the early turns, but Blood Moon decks tend to go later than other decks in general, especially, I mean, being able to cast this on turn 4 can end the game quite quickly. And there are, I think Remand and Blood Moon is just good. Pretty much everyone running Platinum Emperion was running Remand, so I just stuck with that. But I do feel like I want a hard counter in there. So this is technically a mulligan to 6, but I think it's a decent 6. We just have to survive to turn 4 and hope they don't have a way to deal with an Emperion. Oh my god. If this is Storm, I'm just going to start over. Like, Storm seems at an all-time high online right now. I don't know. I don't think it's even... Maybe it has won a tournament recently. I haven't been keeping up with that kind of stuff of late. But, like, anyone who's watched my videos... Okay, good. This is Death Shadow. I've never been happier to see a Death Shadow. This sucks because we're going to lose this Madcap Experiment, but we've got 3 more. I really want to see Blood Moon. Blood Moon is going to cure a lot of this hand's warts. But yeah, Storm is crazy high meta share, it feels like, online right now. So, word to the wise out there, if you guys are playing Magic online, be prepared for Storm. I haven't played in paper in a good bit, but I gotta imagine that thoughts scour themselves. I gotta imagine Storm is not nearly played as heavily in paper. That being said, though, I have more than a lingering suspicion that Storm's going to place very highly at the Modern Pro Tour. So they haven't shown they have a black source. I do want to cycle this. I think this is loose, but I'm going to force them to. Okay, it looks like that's fine. Okay, we drew the Madcap, which means I suppose we'll just play this. We can, I mean, they do have Kolaghan's Command. I really, really want a Blood Moon. So if they cast Thoughtseize is the card I didn't want to see. So they're going to take Madcap again, so we'll let that happen. This is the kind of situation where we want to be able to say Mana Leak. If we can get down a Blood Moon, though, we'll still be all right. They don't have a threat down yet. There's that Shadow. So we can remand it this turn. And there's Blood Moon. Okay, so now we've cut them off of Death Shadow. That's kind of awesome. Let's fetch an island here. Play the Blood Moon. Blood Moon coming through in the clutch. And they can't even Stubborn Denial us because we have one up. So that feels great. Feeling PogChamp. And now Blood Moon will delay the game long enough. Ooh, so we can cycle this Platinum Emperion. I think we're all about that with this click. They have to find a basic swamp, which I think they're very unfavored to get. So I'm going to click myself. Suppose I could have held up blue here, but I don't think they have a 2-mana red spell. Put that in the bottom. Serum Vision's good. That was a card I was kind of iffy on, I suppose. But, ooh, there it is. So yeah, this is kind of what this deck's done for me so far. It's just, Blood Moon's really good. And Blood Moon in conjunction with Madcap Experiment is nice. They're digging. I think they're just gonna. Well, they can't cycle themselves to death, but I'm sure they want to. All right. Well, that went textbook. I think Blood Moon's still good. I'm tempted to want to bring in Young Pyromancer. I think Young Pyromancer is actually pretty decent in this matchup. It's just a whole lot of blockers for their non-sensors. Yeah, so we're going to remove I think on the draw, like playing around their Stubborn Denials is going to be pretty hard in general, so I think I might want to sideboard it out. I'm not 100%. I think we do want... No, we probably don't want Cabinet. I think we just want Young Pyromancer. You and you. Ravenous Trap could be good against their Delve threats, but I think Remand's good enough against that. Search is... I don't know. Spell Snare gets Snapcaster. This is bad, I believe. Spell Snare gets Snapcaster and Collective Brutality. That's probably good enough. I think we do want to just go creature heavy. I think Dispel is where we want to be. We might even want to go down on Cryptics because it's really a liability against Stubborn Denial. So maybe we go down on all Cryptics and bring in Kefnit's Last Word for the Delve guys. I think that's probably okay. We're just trying to win. We're not necessarily trying to use our counter spells to solve many problems. We're trying to use them to make sure stuff that we're countering stays countered. I mean, Double Bolt could just get there, so let's roll with this hand. And Remand is good against Delve. And as usual, when you're playing against a deck that has Inquisitions and Hand Disruption, it really doesn't matter what your starting hand is because it's going to be torn apart. So, like, these cards are good, but they're not cards we absolutely love. I mean, Remand we absolutely love, but besides Remand, we're okay with most of this getting discarded. Yep, Inquisition resolves. I assume they take Dispel here. Oh, Bolt. That's fair too. Taking Bolt means they probably want to play. They're going to play a Delve threat next turn. That's my read, anyways. And they didn't want us to double Bolt it, which means okay, good. That I suppose we're good here. Man, Nimble Obstructionist would be a good draw to keep them off. Nimble Obstructionist and Blood Moon is a nice, got some nice synergies. Trick Bind, I wish. So, knowing we have Blood Moon, they're inclined to fetch basics. They really only need the Swamp, though. And fetching basics means that it's going to take them longer to play Death Shadow. Really would love that Remand right about now. Tessiger, yep. Death Shadow, sure. We could attempt to bolt it. But they know we have this bolt, so I think they're trying to bait us into that. Yeah. Seems as though they have Stubborn Denial for sure. So I'm gonna wait. I would love to slam the combo if I had it, but we don't have it in the deck. But even if I did, I would wait till I had 5 mana so I could protect it. Drawing Blood Moon here would be pretty not good. Ooh, Liliana's great. So they're gonna plus. I'm gonna bolt Liliana. I guess I'm gonna get rid of the Spell Snare because it's really. I suppose I should have snap bolted, right? Yeah, that's a little loose. It's quite loose, actually. Oh, they're having a hard time picking their card. Yeah, we'll take Spell Snare out. Ooh, called your bluff. Okay, Dismember's good here. So we can snap Bolt and then Dismember the Tessiger. So let's do that. Hope they don't have anything. And, you know, maybe we shouldn't. Ooh, what is this? Surgical Extraction. Well, suppose we Dispel it. Because I really want to bolt this thing. So they're top decking. We're getting hit in for 8 next turn. I suppose that means we got a chump, right? So yeah, maybe we do just want the combo. I'm definitely bringing it in. So 8, if we want to Dismember Tessiger, that puts us down to 12. I think, yeah, let's block the thing that can grow. Second Death Shadow. I think that just gets us. Well, Young Pyromancer, a little late. So here, I think we want to get the Death Shadow. Yeah. Paying 2 life sucks, but you gotta do what you gotta do. The reason I'm doing that on my turn is because Stubborn Denial wrecks me. We're going to chump 1, go to 1, I suppose. I don't think we can win if we get rid of the Snapcaster. Like, we don't have an out after that. So we're dead to Kolaghan's Command. We're dead to a million things. Yeah, we're just dead. So maybe I should have mulliganed that hand, I suppose. I think Captain's still good. I think I do like our strategy. The combo would have been good that game. So maybe Keranos is just too slow. What do we bring in for it, though? Jace? That doesn't seem all that great. So let's say we bring it back in. How would that look? So we need to get rid of 5 cards. Electrolyze. Spell Snare. Serum Visions. Don't hate it. Though, where does that leave us for Snapcaster plans? Ooh, and we still need to get rid of one more thing. Probably Search. So that leaves us with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 22. I suppose the smarter way of counting that would have been just subtract 3 from my other spells right here. But we did it our way. 22, take out Pia and Kieran. Bring back in Spell Snare? Serum Visions? I guess we'll keep Serum Visions, Spell Snare in. Alright. So this is a double mulligan. Well, it's a mulligan to whatever. I think we just like this. They're gonna make us discard our Madcap, but Snapcaster's good, Dismember's good, Young Pyromancer's good. I think we're gonna keep. Opponent's down to 5, so I'm feeling better about this keep. I'm sure that means they have probably a decent 5. Street Wraith cures a lot. I'm going to fetch here. I do want more lands, but I also want to conserve my life total in this matchup. Oh, awesome. So I wonder if they're going to bring back, if they bring back in pushes and whatnot. Okay, we're not getting pushed. That's great. Oh, and they milled Kolaghan's Command and Terminate. 2 answers to Platinum Emperion. That's phenomenal. So I'm kind of expecting a discard spell. Ooh, we didn't get one. Yeah, I think we're just going in. Game plan here is to hopefully tap them down next turn and then just land an Emperion. Snapcasters, or sorry, a Young Pyromancer is going to be able to hold the fort, so to speak, with its tokens if they end up landing something. Okay. Well, Dispel's great. This is awesome. So Dispel, well, here, how greedy are we? I think the answer is very greedy. But Remand is such a good spell against their delve threats, so we're not going to be that greedy. I mean, this Young Pyromancer can just win the game if all they have is reactive spells. So missing a land drop there was huge. But Death Shadow. What is that at? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's right at killable range. So say, yeah, okay. We're going to wait for them to, I guess fetching just brings them down to life anyways. Okay, sweet. So we get to remand this. And if they have a Stubborn Denial, they will likely use it. And if they don't have a Stubborn Denial, that means our Madcap's just good to go anyways. Yeah, so let's just slam the Madcap. So now they have to remove our Madcap to win the game. Or sorry, our Platinum Emperion to win. They've delved away a lot of their threats. They could Snapcaster back Terminate here. We're low to that. But they can't really attack, and they're at 8. Now they're at 7. So if they're running the card that I think Death Shadow should always run, Temur Battle Rage, we're in a really bad spot here. But if they're not, then we're pretty good. Okay, Bolt Snap Bolt puts them to 1, so let's just attack with 3 tokens. Maybe that's a bit suspicious. It's actually very suspicious. So they're going to Snapcaster Mage. Suppose we'll let this resolve. We're just going to remand the Terminate when they play it. So yeah, I mean, let's see if they block with their Snapcaster. Okay, they do. We could just dispel it, but, you know, remand's good value here. Get an extra token, draw a card. Another Snapcaster, so they're still dead to Bolt Snap Bolt if we attack not like a coward. So yeah, if we'd swung in with everyone there, with Snapcaster Remand backup, we would have been in a much better spot. So this is the Tasigur, I do believe. It's interesting that they're keeping up 2 mana. I don't think it's that interesting. I guess they're hiding their fetch ability. So here, we're gonna just biff this Tasigur. I would love to pay life, if at all possible. Is this a glitch? So, target creature. 1, boom, boom. Okay, for some reason... Oh, it's not a glitch. Okay, so that's a bit of a nombo. So that changes things. Let's see, we attack in with everything. They're going to block Emperion. Is that fine? I think it is. We just need to get 1 damage in and we're fine. Okay, this is even better. Yep. All right, the power of lightning bolts. So yeah, this was a card that was in. I guess it's one of those nombos that's like, well, it's great to get you to Emperion level, but once you have it, you can't cast it. You literally can't cast it. I didn't think about that. Obviously, you saw me flail away trying to get rid of that. But I think Death Shadow with the Emperion is a pretty decent matchup. Stubborn Denial makes things difficult, but that's why we have Teferi, even though we didn't see him. That's why we got these 3 Dispels. Like, you can craft a situation where you're going to be all right. And our opponent for mulliganing had a very functional hand, kind of a better hand than ours, to be honest. They had a very dangerous hand. It's the power of Death Shadow. It's very land light, so its draws are usually quite potent. Yeah, let's let me think. I think Dismember is probably just a necessary evil. There's one list that maybe this is just better, and it probably is. There's probably some downsides that I haven't thought about, but they were running a couple Screds, and the snow islands are actually kind of expensive for lands. They're like $1, $2 right now, I think. So it wasn't something I wanted to invest in immediately, but after seeing that interaction, I think Scred might just be the way to go with this deck. Because if you're playing all snow islands, you can have 8, 9. I think you really only need up to 5. Well, Dismember is just really efficient at what it does. But yeah, let's run it back into another queue. I was kind of really hoping to see Teferi, but maybe, I don't know. Those games are pretty quick. I think Death Shadow, especially post-board, I think usually becomes more of a grind. I think the opponent, they had a pretty good draw every match, I would say. And a pretty aggressive draw. But as you can see, we do have the transformative sideboard. Basically, for decks where I'm not 100% on this surviving, you bring in the Young Pyromancer. Or for being able to cast this, let's say. A lot of the times, game 2, I just like going to Young Pyromancer anyways, because it messes with their sideboard strategy. Yeah, I'd love to. Just to keep, kind of like what Twin used to do, just to keep them guessing. This hand seems good. Turn 3 Blood Moon. Can't be bad, right? In before Hand Disruption. In before Arak, I guess. So, ooh, okay, so I get to show off my assertion that Platinum Emperion and Blood Moon is good against Burn. If they're just mono red, it's not going to be. Blood Moon isn't. Click. We're okay fetching that away. This hand, while not great against what our opponent is doing currently, Spell Snare is very good. What are the odds? Huh? This has got to be a bug, right? The more Magic Online you play, the more crazy shenanigans like this happens. Like, that was our top card and we fetched. Like, how many times has that happened to you? It's theoretically possible, right? It's a card in the deck, it's shuffled, it's perfectly randomized. What's to say it's not going to be the same card? But it happens just enough that you start to think. You do start to wonder. So if they're just stuck on one land, we're going to be okay. The Electrolyze can deal with the Goblin Guide. Opt? It's a draw. I really would love a Lightning Bolt. Okay. Hoping for Eidolon or something I can counter. Yep. So they're leaving open mana, which means we can't. I don't want to tap out for this Electrolyze and miss a Boros Charm. I suppose I could have just played Blood Moon there, but then we would have got Boros Charmed. So I like countering the first one, I like dealing with the pressure before we play our Blood Moons. Skullcrack, just 3 damage. So we could tap out. Well, let's try to opt for a Lightning Bolt. Not a Lightning Bolt. And a Braid. Ugh, gross. So I'm really hoping this reveals a Lightning Bolt. Steam Vent's better than drawing it, I suppose. So we're going to take 2 more. It's not a good spot. I really just need the Spell Snare to do something. Okay. It's not, it's not the best hit, but it is a hit. Because the card we want to cast costs 4 mana. So I'm just playing this island. And then I am Blood Mooning. I don't think Blood Moon is all that good right here, right now. It shuts them off of a lot of stuff, though. But it shuts me off of Cryptic Command. I think we're just waiting. We might play it next turn. Remand. I guess we're just taking 2 here. I really want this Cryptic Command to work. Okay, since we're not... So we could be dead, I guess. No, we can't be dead. So let's play Electrolyze to cycle into this Remand. And hopefully underneath it is Platinum Emperion. Or, sorry, Madcap Experiment. Lightning Helix. Okay, that's not a Boros Charm. Madcap. Alright, so we Blood Moon. And then we have open Remand. No, I don't think so. So yeah, we're in a tight spot. We really need a Madcap. If we can get Madcap, I don't think we can lose game 1. Swift Spear, that's fine. We're just gonna Snapcaster. Block it. Actually, let's just abrade it. And we'll Remand whatever they play. Keeping Snapcaster for later. Rift Bolt. That's not good. So we can, yeah, let's just draw that. Madcap. Yes! So we're not out of the woods. They need to point a whole lot of burn at this Madcap. Next turn, Blood Moon's going to shut them out of anything too bad. So they might have just 2 more burn spells, in which case that didn't really buy us much. Yeah, they do. Okay. Oh, Shard Volley. That's great. So because they're on 1 mana, we're gonna go down to we are gonna Blood Moon because we can Remand their next play, and then hopefully they have white spells in hand. That's why they kept There's a Rift Bolt. Unfortunate. So because we have 2 Snapcasters, I think I'm okay jamming this one down just to start beating. Madcap Experiment. Oh, I guess that is an option, isn't it? So land here? No. So Cryptics are not good. Thinking back to my opening hand, did I have fetch land? We're just remanding this. Did I have fetch land Sulfur Falls? Because if so, I should have fetched a an island. And then we'd be in a good spot here. Okay, so we have Snapcaster. We can't. We can die here if they have double bolt. Just Searing Blaze. Okay, we're still alive. We can Snapcaster Madcap as long as we don't draw a Platinum Emperion. Okay. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so first Madcap doesn't always survive, but the second one, they can't kill it this turn. Yep. Yes. So yeah, a traditionally bad matchup for these decks is now winnable thanks to Madcap Experiment. Obviously we want all of our counter spells. We're definitely keeping the combo in. Teferi's kind of medium. Search is coming out. Serum Vision's the least favorable of our interactive spells. We do have to keep in at least... I think we probably just don't want to Dismember. It's too much life loss. Remand isn't great, but it does buy us time to get to Madcap. Let's see. Maybe we do want Young Pyromancers as well. So, say we're going down like this. Still need to get rid of one card. I suppose out of all of them, it'd be Electrolyze or Remand. I think Remand's just too good of a point on the curve. So that's what that looks like. So we have 23 spells for Young Pyromancer. I think that's alright. So we're essentially trading Cryptics plus... We're trading Cryptics for spells that we're going to be able to cast before we die. And search for Escanta for Young Pyromancer. I mean, this... I tend to bring in... Ooh, I wanted to get rid of this. Yes, that is... It's a mulligan anyways, but Teferi's a dead draw. Whoop, okay. Yowza. So even if we get an island here, I mean, going down to 4, what better 4 is this? Is there like Lightning Bolt, fetch land? I think this is just... I don't like going down to 4 unless this is unplayable, but we do have a scry. We could just be dead though if we don't have the fetch land or an island on top. But I suppose we're keeping. That hasn't happened yet, and you guys play Magic. Sometimes you just get hands that are bad. I was just about to say, turn 1 creature, might as well seal the deal. At least if it was a guide, it could have drawn us into lands. We need a fetch line next turn. We also need them to, I mean, if they're going to be on a 1 land hand, that's really bad for us because that means their hand's straight gas. But we have Madcap Experiment. to at least tie up their resources. Okay. Fetch land. Has to be a fetch land. Yeah, I think we're just dead. So you could say we can go down to 4, and you can play Magic with 4 cards. That's true, but I think this hand was just good enough that if we drew lands, we were gonna be fine. Like Dispel's great. Madcap wins us the game. Potentially. Madcap at least gains us 8 life for 4 mana. That's pretty great. Though obviously they have paths and whatnot post board. So they're going all in here. So we're pretty much dead land. Yeah. When was our next land? There it was. Alright, well that gives me a chance to reconsider my sideboarding. I think it's just fine though. Oh yeah, I didn't want Teferi. I almost kept him in there. Teferi, you know, it makes sure our counterspells are good, but it's a 5 mana card. So I think Electrolyze over Teferi is even better. I mean Cryptic might be alright too. So maybe we want Cryptic instead. I don't mind 1 Cryptic. I really don't love it. Alright, this hand's great. I really don't love it. Against burn. I mean, once you get to 4 mana, it's great. I don't want too many though. Like I definitely don't want 3. Like if your opener is 2 Cryptics, a couple lands, like you might not survive long enough to cast those. This is the kind of hand you want to see. You want to trade Cryptics in for early interaction. So looks like opponent is on a bit of a tester this time. They're waiting. I think that would be. I would appreciate that if they had to mulligan after our last game. They do not. So we probably want this to be an island anyways, so let's lead on mountain. Shock. 2 damage we don't have to deal. Off spike. Cool. Turn 2, well, because I want to cast Blood Moon on 3, well, maybe I don't. So we can hold open Remand here, and Lightning Bolt. Remand seems good. We do need lands, so I'm good drawing here. I'd love to play this Young Pyromancer with 3 lands. Another Rift Bolt, or a Rift Bolt. Woof. Well, I think we're still getting an island, so we don't need to fetch. There it is. Well, I think I'm just slamming Blood Moon here. It cuts them off of interacting with our Madcaps if we ever draw them. We can't play. Well, I mean, that's pretty good. Okay, now we can. We can play on Pyromancer. And hold open Remand. Really need Madcap, though. Because their hand is Gasoline. We'll Remand this even though it doesn't do anything. Ties up their mana for the turn. Draws me a card and gets me a 1/1. So I guess that's something. The spell's good. Ooh, okay. It's very good here. So now we get to Snap Dispel. So that's 6 life. And we're dangerously close. I mean, we're dangerously close to dying, but we're also dangerously close to turning the corner. So we have 6 damage here. So dispel. Okay, we can only dispel. So I think we just shock once. We'll go for it again. Really need an island. Okay, so we can remand end the spell. That's pretty good. So we win next turn. We just have to get to next turn. Oh, they didn't have anything? That's great. Yes! Alright, Blood Moon. Not the worst against Burn. Alright, obviously Madcap would have been a phenomenal draw there at any time during the game. Yeah, like, Burn isn't an easy win, mind you. Like, you saw, like, even if we had a playable game 2, you do have to draw the card, and you have to draw your interaction, but it's not unwinnable, as at least a lot of the blue-red decks I've been playing against have been. I mean, they're never unwinnable. That's blue-red's hallmark. No unwinnable matchups, but it's not great, and you really do have to get lucky or draw well. Which some might say is the same thing. All right, let's grab one more in here. Let's wait. We'll wait a little bit. We don't necessarily want to play the same person. But yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised with this deck. Like, on the surface, it's very similar to the Kiki Jiki deck, but without an instant win. Ooh, let's play it. But it's been performing for me, and it could just be that it fits the style of game I want to play. But it seems it's just having your game plan revolve around a 4-mana spell rather than a 5-mana spell that you only have 2 of. It feels a whole lot better. I think we keep this. We have Blood Moon if it's like a spells matchup, and if it's not a spells matchup, these cards will be good. It's just like, and the deck has enough. Ooh, is it the same guy? If so, that's my B. I don't think it is, though. Jusu. I guess there's one way to find out, right? Yeah, Ode to Quellman. Hoping this is, oh, we going against Rug? That Rug boy? Those Rug boys? Dang. It's probably just a red fetch, but could be Rug. I will Lightning Bolt any creature played here. I promise you. Please do not interrupt with my land drops. Thank you. Good island. Come on in, please. Opt. I don't think we want another Lightning Bolt. I think we want something else. I did say something else. That is certainly something else. Obviously, I would much prefer Lightning Bolt here. We would fetch and then would shuffle that platinum. But see, this is the downside of the deck. You can draw your Emperions. Fetch. I'm going to fetch a Steam Vents here because we got Island. Yeah, that sounds fine. So, say we jam this Blood Moon. I guess it eats a remand or a spell that they have to spend on it. I don't love tapping out for it, but I think this is a good spot. Looks like they have Remand here. Okay, this is 100% Storm. Those Foothills are just throwing me off. But they didn't fetch Island. Maybe it's not 100% Storm. Half the battle in Magic is figuring out what you're playing against, at least when you're playing a control deck. Like, if you're playing a mid-range deck, you kind of just do your deck and hope your deck does its deck thing better than they do their deck thing. And despite the remands, this is definitely... It's towards the aggro. It's like controls all the way over here on the needle. And this is like... We're probably like halfway to aggro control. We're definitely not aggro control, though. Primeval Amulet. We're going against the Brew. Oh, this has to be a Storm deck. Neat. Try to jam another Blood Moon, I guess. It's fine. We're gonna play Sulphur Falls so we can bolt something. They got another land. Hallelujah. Tap out. Okay. Play something. So this is just Storm with Primeval Amulet? That's interesting. I kind of thought about this with Storm, but I thought Storm was just kind of good enough. Bolt you. They've spent one of their Manamorphoses, so this Blood Moon is one Manamorphose better than it was. And we have Dismember, so if they have something else, something scary to play, we'll be alright. Madcap and Platinum are decent against Storm. It makes it so, like, it's not phenomenal, but it makes it so they have to expend 8 of their Storm. They have to really go off to kill you, basically. So we'll keep open 2 blue so that we have access to nothing. Yeah, let's just... For some reason I thought we could hit another land drop. So they fetched 3 Steam Vents knowing we have Blood Moon, so I can only assume they have no basic islands. They can't play Reducers anymore unless they have Manamorphose. And if they have Manamorphose, they have to spend 1 here. Boy. Why do I say it? Why do I say it? Double blue, so Baral. 2 Serum Visions, okay. I do like the innovation here. I can respect my opponent's choices. Opt White House. Okay, well, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 2 mana away from just hardcasting this baby, so that's something. That's something I didn't expect to say. I mean, but we do have 22 lands, and all of our fetches... Oh. So they never fetched the island, and then they just... Oh, they couldn't fetch it because it's Wooded Foothills. Right. I'm dumb. So here, say we tap for opt, they just cast gifts. So, yeah. Ritual, sure. Past in Flames with a blue mana up. I don't like the sound. Alright, so what can they end up doing? They can turn 4 into 5. You can't really do anything, right? So I think we just let this resolve? Yeah. I mean, it lets them cycle. It unlocks their hand, but I don't think we're dead here. It is going to let them dig. Alright. Alright, so they get to Ritual here. Well, doesn't this just fizzle them if we counter this one? So they can cast Serum Visions? Yeah, I'm fine with that. You got it, boss. Bottom, top. Madcap, thank you very much, Mr. Roboto. Thank you, thank you. Any reason to hold open Snap Bolt? Not this turn, right? We can snap. Well, I guess. Yeah, I mean, we might as well hold open what we can hold open. So now they have to really go off, which is totally possible. But they do have to do it. They don't just have to. They don't get to do it the easy way. They have to earn it. Another Past in Flames. Paretic Ritual. I think we opt here. Because if we opt into a snare, I think we just want to cast it. Ooh, Remand. That's good too. So this hinders their development. They have a Remand? They're a third? Just F6. We're done. We could have saved it, I suppose. But I don't think they can go off. The reason I wanted to blow this is because I do not think it's possible for them to go off if this doesn't resolve. And if they don't go off, we win next turn. So that's why I was a little antsy with it. Of course, I mean, because it's their last ritual in their graveyard. They do have their Remand. So I knew they had a Remand in their freaking graveyard. We did cut them off of 2 mana. But I still think that's fine. They get to cycle. They have to draw into Grape Shot. Okay, well, getting a Baral is really good. So Baral makes them gain mana. Yeah. Maybe I should have just waited. I wonder, can we strand them here? Well, we can't give them... I mean, I guess we can give them Ritual, right? I mean, Grape Shot. So we bin both Rituals. They have access to 3 mana? Yeah. So they can Grape Shot away this Emperion. But, you know, now that they've done this, we can't win next turn anyways. They have a blocker. Okay. So, yeah. Pew. Goodbye, Platinum Emperion. But they lose Baral next turn, and we have Remand and... Well, we have Snapcaster Cryptic and Remand, Snapcaster Remand. Which should be... I mean, if that doesn't stop Storm, what does? What does? I was really hoping to dodge Storm tonight. I mean, I still do enjoy the grind against it, but... Oh, did they just mess up? How did they mess that up so badly? So we might get a Shame Conceit here. So they could have just pointed it all at our... Oh, they were pointing it at our face. They forgot that... So, let's see. We would have been able... They had 27. So they would have done 8. And then, well, now we can't cast this, but we can snap Lightning Bolt. I can't Madcap Experiment because this guy's in our hand. So they did have enough mana to win that turn, but I'm not going to cry any tears over Storm fizzling of their own errors. Obviously not ideal for testing. I think we were just dead there. But there's only so many times you can leave. That doesn't do anything with our hand, though, because we have to... I mean, we can remand something bad. I suppose we just wait to see. Okay, so we can Snapcaster Cryptic this. I think we just remand it, though. Well, no. Yeah, let's Snapcaster Cryptic. Snapcaster. No, because Snapcaster Cryptic is beaten by Remand. Haven't they used all their Remands, though? Pretty close to it. They'd have to have one more. Alright. I convinced myself. I'm Crypticing. Counter draw. What more can I do? So, I mean, they drew like 30, over half their cards in their deck. They're favored to have drawn 4 of any of one of their cards. So it's not like it's too surprising. Obviously, that can't happen. And I think we should try to bin one of their rituals, but it doesn't really matter because they have enough mana to just flare off at this point. But yeah, we were dead that other turn. All they had to do was get 8 and then get the other grape shot to us. To our face. So if you are curious, we are dead here. And I'm going to make them go through with it a little bit. Because we might not be 100% dead. It really depends on their gifts piles. But feel free to fast forward to the next game in this match, or stop watching. Okay, yeah, I forgot they had grape shots in the graveyard. Well, actually, we're going to respond. Nah, we're just going to concede. I could kill myself with that, but it's fine. So yeah, let's bring in the Ravenous Traps, the Negates, the Dispels. I think Madcap Platinum is still better than Young Pyromancer. Yeah. Nimble Obstructionist and Click are pretty good. And Cryptic's going to be too hard to cast. We're keeping Blood Moon in. Braid's better than Electrolyze. Search is worse than doing something, and so is Serum Visions. So, Teferi. Teferi means they can't counter our counter spells, which I assume means we still want it in the deck. What would we bring in over Teferi? Like a Young Pyromancer? A Cryptic Command? I think one Teferi is fine. It's also a threat. So I think we have better hands. Like double Dispel is good. Well, and Dismember, yeah, maybe we do keep this. So we have counter gifts, counter remand, get remanded, whatever. I guess if they're remanding a Dispel, we can just get it though. Dismember is going to get the first Reducer we see. Emperion is a mulligan, but we can click it out of our hand. So this appears to be budget mana-based Storm with a little bit of spice. And if Blood Moon can't beat that deck, then... Whew. Now, I do think that I'm just on like an incredibly bad run against Storm as it stands. So that's coloring my opinions a little bit. And I'm sure yours as well, because you've all been watching me flail helplessly against this deck. But I think it's just a really, really good deck. And I've thought that ever since I saw, I think Kenji was the first person I saw play the new Gifts deck, and I was like, whoa, I immediately went and got my Gifts Ungiven. I'm like, this deck isn't bonkers. So we can jam a Blood Moon here, and they can remand, and then they can go off, but I think playing in fear of the turn, misclick, can't do that. Alright, well, then we're definitely going for it. Playing in fear of the turn 3, it's not all that common. So yeah, we should have 2 islands here. That's going to hurt us in the long run. Ritual, Primal Amulet. Alright, so we should have 3 islands here. So that's pretty good. Good thing we kept a Braid in. The upside is they can't cast anything too scary. They can't cast Gifts unless they find a blue, and we just need to find Madcap. Suppose we could wait. Oh, that's fine. Land is good, and so is Madcap, but we can't cast Madcap this turn, and Remand can interact with whatever they do, which appears to be nothing. Tarn is fine. So we should have Cryptic Mana up, if not for my unfortunate misclick. So they're going to have to discard here. Ooh, Dispel. It's pretty ballsy to board and Dispel when I have Blood Moon and you don't have blue fetches. Maybe there's like an insane amount of islands in this deck that we haven't seen, but I think they only drew 2, and that was a long game last time. So this is why Blood Moon's a horrendous card, horrendously good card. It just grinds games to a halt. Opt, we'll opt. Opt into opt, sure. Yeah, because then we can remand and Dispel still. Remand, that's great. Ooh, I have to discard? Well, one away from casting that. I guess Dismember is the worst card in my hand. Because they can't cast anything until they have blue mana. Anything we care about, at least. So, if we see Manamorphoses, we will be getting them. Ravenous Trap. So we're going to keep that. Yeah, I guess we're just... What are we going to discard? So Dispel really makes it so they can never resolve a Gifts. I suppose Remand also keeps them from resolving... If I was going to discard the Lightning Bolt, then I should have cast it. So we have 3 Dispels for 3 whatchamacallit. I think we can discard a Dispel. Yeah. I mean, I suppose we can just remand it just to do something. Spell Snare, okay, that's good. Ooh, now we have 2 Lightning Bolts, so we can dome them with one of them. or we can F2 into Oblivion. So they should be at 14. I thought I was going into my end step, not cleanup. Island. Cool. We should just cast this. We could just be straight up dead if we do it, but I'm tired of this. I don't think this is optimal. Not with all the interaction we have in our hand. If they draw a single island, I'm probably just dead. I want to get this game over with. So it looks like they have Grape Shot. If they're leading on this. Ooh, let's not F6. Ravenous Trap this turn. Past in Flames. They've only cast 2 cards, right? Yeah. So there's nothing really scary in their graveyard. This is flashback, so that's fine. What are they going for? They're just trying to get the biggest thing they can. I guess they're just trying to get rid of my Emperion. That's fine. So they're not going to be able to unless they have another one in hand, because they have to cast this Past in Flames. And in response, oh, they do have another one in hand. It's pretty good. So we have 4 Madcap Experiments left, and 1 more Emperion, which we can now hard cast apparently. So seeing how this game has gone makes me want to have Young Pyromancer. Wow, are we just dead here? Yeah, we are. Jeez. So I should have played this a whole lot better. This one's on me. I think I've been playing recently good against Storm, or recently. This by far is my worst played match against Storm. I should have. I mean, I'm not guaranteed to win this game, but obviously none of that should have happened. We had Remand to at least get the Past in Flames and Spell Snare. Yeah. But yeah, if Storm is very capable of going off without using the graveyard. So let's look at the next. The game was at least going 3 more turns. They had a whole lot of grape shots, and we can't really interact with the grape shots with any of this stuff. So I don't even know if we would have survived even with this amount of mana, because they had Primal Amulet, which was obviously very good for them. And we had Remand, and yeah, but they have basically they had it. We would have drawn into Negate 2 turns from now, but even then, even if I'd played well, I'm still losing that game. But like as I was saying earlier, like I jammed that Platinum Emperion just so I could finish this game, and it doesn't always work in your favor when you play hastily. So, lesson learned. Don't. It's not necessarily tilt, but it's like an aspect of tilt when you play like that. Like I was letting my fatigue of playing against Storm get to me, and the upside is we were probably losing to double Grape Shot, Past in Flames with only Remand and Dispel in hand. Like we can interact with gifts, but that was it. But anyways, that's Madcap Blue Moon, I suppose. Blue Moon Madcap. Blue Moon Emperion. That's what I've called it here. I don't know what I'm going to list it as. So all these names could be names that aren't on the title that you clicked on. But that's the deck. I think it's of the combo blue-red combo control decks that we've been playing. recently. I think this is my favorite one, and this is the one I'm going to continue working on. I might also try to build some real janky shape anew, if anyone's interested in that. I know I am. So I'm going to do that in my non-recording time, and if it seems halfway as good as this deck, then I'll probably record a few matches with it. But yeah, I do think Ravenous Trap is still good against Storm. Obviously, if we had it in hand and it did nothing, so maybe we don't want it. Maybe we just want ley lines. Maybe we're just slowly going further and further towards the best possible Storm stuff and Storm hate. I would say let's run Thorn of Amethyst, but we're a spell-based deck. Maybe we're okay slowing ourselves down if it makes it almost impossible for them to go off. But yeah, like, if we draw on Madcap during any of those really long games, whatever, you saw the game, you knew what would happen. Madcap would have been good there. And I think I think this has a better matchup against Storm than the other blue-red decks we've been playing. Even the Jeskai Escanta deck with even more hate, I think this has a better deck, better chance against it. So, yep, that's Blue Moon, Madcap Blue Moon. I'm going to look up the names. I'm sure someone's named it something better. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll have another video on Saturday. This is airing early Friday, Friday afternoon, depending on where you live. But yeah, had a boatload of fun, and this deck is good. And if you have the cards, I would play them and see it for yourself. These are actually pretty cheap. So I think these are like $4.50 right now. So it sucks because this is literally the only deck you're gonna play this in unless you play Commander. But Madcaps are extraordinarily cheap, so it's like it's not gonna cost you much if you have these to test this out. And I think it's good. It's weak against Path and removal, but like Blood Moon does a whole lot because the deck for helping that situation, because the decks that play those are usually 2-color, 3-color, and Blood Moon is great, as you saw. Blood Moon is a really, really powerful card, and it's worth trying to find decks that you can play Blood Moon in just because of how powerful Blood Moon is. So yeah, maybe next time we play this, we'll play against Eldrazi Tron. Who knows? If we could only be that lucky, right? Like, anyways, thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next video. See ya. Peace.